Welcome back, guys. Today we have a riding lawn tractor, yard machine 638 RL, built by MTD. And no, not that thing. This right here. Now this one has a Tecumseh engine, and the engine model is OV3582AA. It's a 13.5 horsepower. Now these machines were sold in Home Depot back in 2008 and 2009. Now what is the problem? Well, the problem that I'm having is that it won't turn on, and the back right wheel will not turn, or the machine will not go into neutral, even though it is in neutral right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get it started. Now, a few days ago, I charged the battery, but I'm still not able to start it. So the tractor is in park. It is choked. Let's try and start it. It's a no-go. Everything here looks good. There seems to be a lot of fuel around the carburetor. Let's take off the air filter. Now, a lot of you may remember this machine from a year and a half ago. I purchased it for my daughter, and back then it had a bad starter, which I replaced, and it started working fine. Now the filter looks very, very good. Let's take that off. Now I'm using an 11mm socket. Yeah, this air filter looks brand new. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to open up the choke, and I'm going to throw some starting fluid down the throttle. Let's try and turn it on. Let's see if it works. Oh, it wants to. There it goes. All right, what does this tell us? It's not a starter problem. It's not an ignition issue. It's not a gas issue. Well, could be related. There's a fuel delivery problem. There's either gas is not getting to the carburetor from this hose, or there's a problem with the carburetor. The carburetor is the original carburetor. I did not replace it a year and a half ago. It is a little bit dirty. It looks like, I don't know, oil, maybe fuel that spilled all over it. Who knows? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remove this fuel hose, and I'm gonna put it in this pan to see if fuel is flowing from the tank. And if it is, then we can narrow our problem to the carburetor. But first, let me close this fuel valve here. There's only a little bit of fuel there. I don't want everything to dump here from the tank. All right. Now, if I open up this valve and fuel starts flowing at a decent rate, then we can eliminate the fuel tank or any part of this hose. All right, are you guys ready? Let's do it. You know what, guys? That looks decent. We are getting enough fuel to the carburetor. All right, let's go ahead and Turn that off. Yep, I need to concentrate my energies on this carburetor. That's our issue. 11 millimeter to take out these bolts. Actually, yeah, these are nuts. There's a third one up on top here, to the left. And that's different. That's a 10 millimeter. Yeah, guys, these two were 11 millimeter. There is one more up here. That's a 10 millimeter. And this is a bolt up here. A bolt and two nuts. And here it is. Here's the bolt. Now I should be able to slide this off. And there is a hose attached to the engine block. And this right here is an E5 Torx. We have two. And you need an E5 socket like I have here. Unfortunately, I already broke the head of this one. So these need to be pulled out before I can take out the carburetor. Let's try the second one. Yep, this one's coming off. There we go. Now this one, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to take it out since the head broke off. I broke it free. I gotta save these bolts because I don't know if I'll be able to get bolts like this. This is an older engine from 2008, 2009. Yeah, I may be able to, but no, gotta save them. There we go. Both lines are off. And this is my problem. We're gonna open it up and investigate. You know, I can probably get this carburetor from HIPAA for 10 to 15 bucks. A brand new carburetor. I already know I need a new gasket right there. See that? If I'm gonna get a kit for this to rebuild it, why not just get a whole new carburetor for less the price than what the new gaskets and the kit will cost? Let's see what's inside. I can't recall opening this carburetor up a year and a half ago, but I could be wrong. It looks clean in there. And it is. It's very clean. The needle looks good as well. Guys, for this particular carburetor, I cannot find a gasket kit or a rebuild kit. So I did the next best thing. I ordered a brand new one for a price of $15. However, I'm gonna save this one for future use. You just don't know. Maybe I can use this for parts. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this away. And here is a new carburetor, guys. It arrived in 2 days. Yep, it's identical. Well, almost, but the same. It also came with its fuel filter and only one gasket. All the filters, all the carburetors out there, for whatever reason, only come with one gasket. So now I'm going to install it, but I'm going to put the gasket that came with it in the front, because here in the back I have a very good gasket that's in good condition. Let's see, am I able to put these lines on with the carburetor in there? Maybe not. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it out, put these lines in first, and then unbolt it down. Like this one goes right there. Again, guys, this is an E5 Torx. This one is broken, so I'm gonna have to tighten it up by, with this. Now, the way the fuel is delivered to the carburetor is via gravity fed. And normally I use these fuel filters for gravity fed systems because it's less restrictive than this. However, I don't have any more of these, and the carburetor came with this one, so I want to test it out. It's looking good. That's a little bit better. All right, so now let's open up this valve and watch the fuel flow. Yeah, just like that, in just 2 seconds it filled up. Should we try and start it? I say yes. Okay. I may have to pump the gas a little bit. Stalled. Oh, I think I opened up the choke too much. So I'm gonna take this hood off. There's only 4 bolts and nuts that you need to remove. One there, one on the opposite side. And then down here, there are 2 more. One here and one on the other side. But before I do that, I need to remove the lights. You just twist them and they come off. I have LEDs on this one, by the way. The bolt head is 10 millimeter and the nut is 11 millimeter. There we go, 1 down, 3 more to go. There we go. By the way, guys, the bottom 2 bolts were 13 millimeter. Let's take out the spark plug to see in what condition it's in. Ooh, it's a little dark. I'd say it needs to be replaced. Yep. All right, what is this? This is an E3 spark plug, E3.18. Huh. I'm gonna try and find an NGK compatible, or maybe go back and get an E3.18 spark plug nearby at the Home Depot. I'm gonna take this cover off, and I'm using a 30 Torx to take them off. You can also use a 10 millimeter for the head. There's 3 of them. There's another one on the other side. Now this one's holding the oil filler right there. This one's not Torx, but it is a 10 millimeter though. There we go. Voila. And guys, I didn't have to go very far to replace the spark plug. I had them here. And the original spark plug for this is a Champion RC12YC, and the equivalent is an NGK BPR6ES, and I have a box of them. So, well, I got one left. And this is compatible. And this one, this NGK needs to be gapped to 30th of an inch. And I have my gap tool right here, and pretty much they always come gapped properly. Yep, this one's no different. So let's go ahead and install it. Voila. I'm gonna turn it on, let the engine warm up, and then I'm gonna change the oil. My garage door is open. So guys, last year I was unable to take out this drain bolt. I already know that I need to take this filler tube off. And then I'm going to use this tool to remove all the oil into my drain pan, which is right below. I mean, I could try again. I may break it, so I'm not going to do that. So this machine takes 32 fluid ounces. I'm gonna use 10W30. This machine is not used in the cold, therefore I don't need 5W30. 10W30 is perfectly fine. I'm gonna put the tube back in and add oil. Perfect. All right, guys, so I installed this filter backwards. I don't see the words flow anywhere on it. If there was one, it should be that way. So you see this little white part here? Should be facing towards the carburetor. But anyway, let me take it out and see if I can find any wording in it. But yeah, this is a mistake. Because if flow is backwards right now, then it's gonna prevent a lot of the fuel to flow through at a good rate, and that can affect the performance of your machine. So I'm gonna turn off the shutoff. I have a pin underneath just in case there's any spillage, and there always is, even a couple of drops. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now, I don't see any kind of wording whatsoever. Oh, never mind. I do see an arrow. Arrow is pointing that way, towards the carburetor. All right, my bad. All right, but never too late. Okay, let's put it on. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this fuel. It's been here for a year. I assume it is non-ethanol, but you just never know. So I'm gonna get rid of it and put some new fuel in there. There's not a whole lot in the tank. It's only a couple of, maybe a cup or two. The tank has been emptied. Now I want to put this filter back. All right, guys, so earlier this morning, I took it for a ride and the engine is working great. However, I do have a problem, and that is I'm driving around my driveway, the riding mower stopped. All of a sudden, just stopped. The engine kept working just fine, but this just stopped. And then I was playing with the gears, and after about 30 seconds to a minute, the mower started moving again. So what could that be? It could be one of many reasons. The drive belt is worn, or the idler pulley is bad. Worst case scenario, the hydrostatic transmission is worn out. But for most riding mowers like this one, it's usually the belt which is worn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mower piece, I'm going to take it out, lift this up, and look at the belt, replace it, look at the pulley, the idler pulley, replace that if needed. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's not the transmission. So let's begin. All right, first thing I need to do is lower the mower. Now look at your instructions for your particular model because they're all different. I need to remove a couple of pins, a rod or two, and then just pull it out. Easy. It took just a couple of minutes. There was a pin here. I also took out this little bar, and there was a spring right there. And I took off this bar in order to lift up the spring, and obviously the belt that went to the front pulley. Super simple. All right, so what are we looking for? Any missing springs? This one's okay. I guess this is the idler pulley. And one thing I just noticed, guys, this belt. This belt appears to be stretched. Yep, it's old, it is stretched, and that's probably my only issue here. Yeah, it goes, how many belts are here? It looks like 2 belts. This one, and there's another one back here, but this one is tight. It is this one that's very loose. And I guess that's my problem. I mean, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm willing to bet that's it. Yeah, it's way stretched. I mean, I could still have a transmission problem, but unlikely. Yeah, this belt back here looks good. The pulleys back here feel good too. Yeah, this is the idler pulley right there. You see how it moves a little bit that way? And the spring brings it back. That's it. But it feels good though. It feels like it's tight. Huh. All right, muchachos and muchachas, this is it right there. This pulley is attached to the engine. Can you see it? Right there. And that is the pulley that provides power via this belt to that transmission down there and the other pulleys back there. So I need to order another belt. And how am I gonna take this off to put the belt, because there's another pulley right above and another belt above. I may have to do it from the back somehow. I may have to take this entire thingamajig out in order to fit the belt in. All right, that's another story, but first, let me order a belt. I've ordered dry belts, 2 of them for my riding mower, the upper belt and the lower belt. And as we wait for the belts to come in, let's go get some diesel for my tractor. It took all 5 gallons. All right, guys, we're back. It's a couple of days later. I have my dry belts. I have here my lower dry belt, which is a long one, my upper dry belt, and I also picked up a spring. One is from Stents, the other one's UDC parts. I picked them up in Amazon. So let's go ahead and go and install them. And oh, by the way, these were cheap. This was $16, $15, and $16. In order for me to get to these belts, I gotta remove the battery. Always remove the negative first. And you install it last. Now I have to take off these two metal thingamajigs here that hold the battery in place. And here we are, guys. It's a little tight in here, but here we see a tensioner pulley, and this is the upper drive belt, and it's being held by a spring here. This tensioner pulley is being held by the spring, so this is the first thing that I need to remove. So here is the spring in the back. I cannot get my spring puller around it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a zip tie, and let me see if I can get it in through there. And I cannot. However, I can get the zip tie from the other side. Let me show you. Just work it. Yeah, you need a very long zip tie for this. And then you're just gonna pull. You see that, guys? You're just gonna pull. And the zip tie broke. All right, what if I get a lockjaw or vice grips in there somehow and then pull? Let me try it. Yeah, this one is under a lot of tension. There we go. Yeah, this one is definitely a little hard to do. There we go, it's loose. Now we are on the right side of the mower, and there is another spring right in here. Let me bring you in closer. And there it is, right in front of the right wheel. So for this one, I am told there's not a whole lot of tension, so I'm gonna use that zip tie method. There we go, yeah. So much easier. There was barely any tension in it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the zip tie in there so later I can just put it in place. Now I should be able to remove the upper drive belt from the pulleys. And I got them off the two smaller pulleys, and I'm not able to remove it from the big one because the big pulley is right next to the frame. I'm literally within less than half an inch or so. So what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna have to lift this pulley up and wiggle the belt out of there. This is a 7/8 nut. Let me get the tool. So in order to keep the pulley from moving, you're gonna take a large screwdriver. You're gonna put it in through that hole, and there we go. It's not gonna be able to move. And then you're gonna take a 7/8 wrench and take off that bolt. But this one's a little bit, let me see, is it long? Yeah, it's a little bit too big, I think. Huh. I need something that's not that long. It's still gonna be 7/8, but maybe something shorter. Let me see if I can find something. There's no space. I get no leverage. So, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna try this crow's foot. It's also a 7/8. And I'm gonna use my impact. All right, guys, I got it loose, but I had doubts. It is super tight in here. You just have to go at it until you get it out of the way. So that crow's foot, I can tell you that's a lifesaver. And I've had that crow's foot since the late 80s, maybe early 90s. Now, we're not gonna take this off. We're just gonna move it slightly towards the left, so I can move the belt. I can remove the belt from the other side. You're not gonna be able to see me do it because it's really, really tight in here. There we go. Haha, voila. Actually, this belt doesn't look all that bad. And it wasn't. From the very beginning, this was not the belt that I was looking to replace because the other one is the stretched one. But since I'm here, might as well do them both. All right. Now the bottom belt, which is the lower drive belt, goes all the way to the engine. Now this plate here, I don't know if you can see it, this moves up and down, this middle plate. But there is a tab. Let me see if you can see it. There's a tab right there that's gonna be, it's in the way. But if I work this, I may be able to pull it out without having to remove this pulley. Let's see. Yeah, take your time. There we go. Voila. Okay, now we need to go to the front of the engine. Let me go ahead and finish removing this. Yeah, there are two tabs. One tab there, one tab on the other side. And this is to prevent the drive belt from coming off if it gets wet or if it stretches out. And here we are at the front, and this is the belt. And you see these tabs, 1, 2, 3. It's gonna be very hard to take them out, to take this belt off, unless we lower this pulley. So yeah, we're gonna have to lower it. This is a 5/8 of an inch bolt, and I'm gonna use my impact, but I'm gonna use channel locks to hold it, because if to hold this bar up here, because if you don't use something to hold it, then this is just gonna spin. They are super tight. So I just got my bigger impact wrench. That should do it. And it did. Yeah, sometimes the bigger tools will do the job. What we need to do is just move it down a bit and work this belt out. There we go. Yeah, you don't have to take this bar off. This is fine where it is. All right. All right, so these are the old belts. These are the new ones. Now I just have to make sure that they are the same. And yes. Is this the same as that one? And this one should be about the same as this one. And it is. Now this one is definitely a bit stretched and worn out a little bit. You can take this bracket off here, this metal rod. All it is, you just push it over to the right and just slightly move it out of the way. There we go. And then don't forget to put it back. Now don't forget, the belt goes inside of two guide pins, one here, one on the other side. They don't go outside of it, they go inside of them. All right, now let's go ahead and put this belt back on. The new belt, that is. All right, now I'm ready for this belt. The upper drive belt, I'm gonna first put it around the big pulley. All right, guys, I got the upper belt in. First, I put it around this pulley, then that one. And then once I put that bolt in, I put it around that third small pulley. And also I got the spring in, this black spring. I replaced the old one. That took like about 5 to 10 minutes to put in from underneath. I had to go underneath and it was a beast. But finally I got it in. Now I need to put that spring on the side. This is the one with the zip tie. There we go. Now I can just cut that off. And now for the big spring. This spring is super tight. It's gonna be a beast. And there you have it, guys. I used my spring puller. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Took a minute and a half, but I was able to do it. Just FYI. There we go, guys. The belts are on. You can see them very well now. Now I put it in gear and it tightened up. Before, when I had it in park, if I put it in park, there will be a lot of slack around it. I didn't know that. But once you put it in gear, then it takes up all the slack. But anyway, new belts, 2 new belts, 1 new spring. I think our problem is solved, but we really won't know until we take it out on the road or out to my lawn. All right, so I'm gonna keep the upper drive belt. It looks relatively good. I'm also gonna keep the old spring, but I'm gonna throw this one away. This one is definitely worn out. You can see it on the sides. Yeah, this is trash. All right, now we're gonna adjust the valves. So with a T30, you can take off the four screws or bolts. Hopefully I will not damage the gasket because I don't have one. Oh, and the gasket came out just fine. All right, now, so I can rotate the engine, the flywheel, I'm gonna take out the spark plug. All right, so we know that this is the intake, that's the exhaust. Intake is closest to the intake, and the exhaust is closest to the muffler. Always rotate the flywheel clockwise until it goes up to top dead center. Right now the intake is opening, exhaust is closed. Yeah, and right about there, they're both closed. So, I'm going to use the screwdriver, put it inside of the cylinder. You see how it goes in now? And right about there it stops. Right there starts to go in. Right there. This is the sweet spot right there. I have a feeler gauge. This is a 4/1000 of an inch. And right now, the intake is too tight. And the exhaust is too tight as well. With an 11mm socket, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this up a little bit. There we go. These are super simple to tighten and loosen. So you want a little bit of drag on your feeler gauge, and I think that's it. There we go. They are both perfect. So I put the battery back on. It rides good. Now it's time to put it all back together. So the mower is done. About an hour ago, I took it out and I rode it around the snow a little bit, just playing around. So I am done with this. Carburetor was done, belts were done, filters were replaced, and a few other miscellaneous things. So with that, guys, I hope you learned something here today, as I did. And with that, you all have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. Now I'm gonna put this under my shed. I'm gonna wash it and clean it up, but not today because it's raining. Bye.